In this lesson, we're going to look at how to properly dispose of waste. I'm sorry, guys, but this lesson is not going to be bells and whistles. In fact, it's probably pretty boring to have to be told on how to throw stuff away. But really, there's a reason behind it. What we don't want is we don't want you accidentally getting stuck by some needle that somebody else threw away in the wrong container. So it's really about being safe and throwing stuff away right where it needs to go so that nobody gets hurt. There are 4 areas of medical waste that we're going to look at today. And the first one is this one. General medical waste. So it's generally not considered hazardous. It's basically paper and plastic and other office waste. So if your patient's eating and they need to throw stuff in the trash can, this is where this falls into. It's general medical waste. You can just throw it right in the trash can. But the big thing that I want you to take away from here is do not put trash in biohazard or the sharps containers. It's really, really expensive. Trash is what it amounts to. The disposing of those biohazard containers, it costs a ton of money to get them properly disposed of. The other thing is it literally fills them up. So when you actually need to throw something like a sharp or a needle or a blood-filled syringe and you need to throw it in the biohazard container, you can't do it because that stuff's in the way. So just don't fill them up with junk. The next type of waste we're going to look at is infectious medical waste. It's the most common type of waste that you're going to see. So this includes things like body fluids, swabs, used bandages, human body parts. Every facility has a different rule in terms of where you need to put this, including some state rules that say how to handle infectious material. But for the most part, it's all going to go in some sort of biohazard. It's your biohazard sign. It's going to go in some sort of biohazard container. Basically, the rule is if there is any human on it, so if it has any sort of like body fluid, body tissue, anything on it, it needs to go in a biohazard container. The other thing too, and this is a really important key point, is use sharp supplies and also any sharps. Sharps go in sharps. That's the rule. Sharps go in a sharps container. There's no reason a sharp of any kind should never go in a sharp container. It always goes in the sharp container. So just make sure that if you've got some sort of sharp container that it goes there, because the last thing you want to do is throw some dirty needle that has some sort of crazy disease on it and it winds up in the trash can and somebody else ends up getting stuck by it, or you accidentally get stuck by it because it wasn't thrown away properly. And then the nursing career that you're working extremely hard for now goes right down the tube. So really focus on putting things where they need to go. Don't get lazy. If you focus, this should be straightforward. Now, the next type of medical waste that we're going to look at is hazardous medical waste. So it's dangerous waste, but it's not infectious. So this is like unused sharps. But again, the rule with this is sharps go in sharps. Don't ever put them in the trash can. Oh, hey, it was a needle that I used to poke through this IV bag, or whatever, or through this bottle of medication. Throw it in the sharps container. Just don't even, it's too dangerous and too risky to say, oh, it was used or it was unused. Sharps just go in sharps. It's the best way to do it. So the other thing about hazardous medical waste is it's going to include your chemotherapy agents, any solvents you use. Sometimes it's like some particular cleaning supplies, unused medications. It's not uncommon if you have to waste a medication that it'll go in here. What you need to do here is follow the policy of the facility, which will adhere to like local, state, national, regional guidelines. So just make sure you follow policy when you're discarding any unused medications. Your biohazards are going to be in like a yellow or a red bin. But again, the big thing here, sharps go in sharps. Radioactive waste is not something that we're really going to be common to experience. So unless you're like on maybe an oncology unit or a radiation area, then you might encounter some. But like in the lesson on radiation safety, you may encounter patients that have seeds or radioactive implants is basically what it is. And they can occasionally become dislodged. So be sure to check out that lesson for tips on it. but they usually have to dispose of it in a special container. There's authorized and certified personnel to handle this. If you ever suspect that you're going to be exposed to it, make sure you have the proper personal protective equipment to protect yourself for it. So disposing of waste is about safety, which is what we focused on today. And now let's recap. Waste has a place. Make sure that you dispose of it properly, depending on what kind of waste it is. If you have to be exposed to anything, make sure you're wearing the right personal protective equipment. Protect yourself, protect the patient. Again, all sharps go in sharps. If it's a sharp, it goes in a sharp container. Just make sure that you put them all in a sharp container. Don't even try to figure out if it was used or unused. Basically, assume they all have some sort of potentially harmful infectious material on them. They all go in the sharp container. And then if you don't know where it goes, ask where it goes. Just ask one of your veteran nurses, ask for unit policy, just find out where it goes instead of just discarding it anywhere. That's all for this lesson on proper disposal of waste. Make sure you check out all the resources attached to this lesson. Now go out and be your best selves today. And as always, happy nursing.